Catter's pendulum. Catter's pendulum was invented by Catter in 1817. This is the diagram of a Catter's pendulum. Catter's pendulum basically a rod of length 1.2 meter, and here W1 is a metal weight and W2 is the wooden weight. This is the wooden weight and this is the metal weight. And here you have two sliding knife edges. This is K1 and K2 are two sliding knife edges, and the two knife edges K1 and K2 are facing each other. And you have a sliding metal cylinder W. This is the sliding metal cylinder for fine adjustment. And here the two weights W1 and W2, that is the wooden weight and the metal weight, they have the same size and shape. And W1 and W2 are equidistant from the two ends. From this end, the distance of the weight W2 is equal to, from this end, the distance of the weight W1. And these two weights W1 and W2, they provide equal air resistance on both sides of the metal bar. And the center of mass G can be found out by balancing the pendulum on an external knife edge. So first you have, before oscillation, what you do, you keep this bar pendulum in a external knife edge vertically, and you make the first find out the center of gravity by adjusting this cylinder G. By adjusting this metal weight W. So first you have to find out the center of gravity G. And your Catter's pendulum is nothing but a compound pendulum. And suppose you give some oscillation, very small oscillation to the compound pendulum. So this is the position of the compound pendulum, and the weight of the pendulum is mg. And this is the point of suspension, and this is the point of the center of gravity. And the distance between the point of suspension and the center of gravity is suppose equal to L. So when it is displaced through a small angle, suppose say theta, then the torque produced will be equal to the restoring force. This will be the restoring force, which you take minus mg sin theta, and this length, that is L into minus mg sin theta. And for small oscillation, you take theta, sin theta is equal to theta, so the torque tau will be equal to minus mgl into theta. But we know torque tau is equal to I into alpha, where I is the moment of inertia and alpha is the angular acceleration. So angular acceleration alpha will be equal to tau divided by I. So tau we have found out minus mgl theta. So this will be equal to minus mgl theta divided by I. Suppose this is equation number 1. And in case of simple pendulum, we have found out that for small oscillation, acceleration is proportional to the displacement, or acceleration is equal to minus omega square into displacement x. And in case of angular displacement, we can write a equal to alpha and x equal to theta. So alpha will be equal to minus omega square into theta. So from equation 1 and 2, you can write omega square will be equal to mgl divided by I. So omega is equal to, we know omega will be equal to square root of mgl divided by I, and we know omega is equal to twice pi divided by t. T is the time period of oscillation. So twice pi divided by t will be equal to mgl divided by I square root. So t will be equal to twice pi square root of I divided by mgl. Suppose this is equation number 3. And using parallel axis theorem, the moment of inertia will be equal to, if you draw a line here and you also draw a parallel line here, and length between these two parallel lines is L, and mass of this body equal to m. So using parallel axis theorem, we have I equal to Ig, that is moment of inertia about the center of gravity, plus ml square. So using parallel axis theorem, I will be equal to Ig plus ml square. So you substitute the value of I here, and we know Ig is equal to mk square. K is the radius of gyration. So you substitute I equal to mk square plus ml square. So the time period will be equal to twice by square root of mk square plus ml square divided by mgl, and m cancels from numerator and denominator. So T will be equal to twice by square root of k square plus L square divided by GL. And this is the well known formula for the time period of compound pendulum. And you can rearrange the term like this: T square into L, that will be equal to 4 pi square divided by G into k square plus L square. Since we have two lengths, one along this side, along the side of the metal, and another along the side of the wood, and we have to find out time period on both the sides. From this side, that means from the side L1, we will calculate the time period, and from the side L2 also we will calculate the time period. So we have two time periods. Along L1, suppose the time period is T1, and along the length L2, you have to suppose find out the time period T2. So suppose T1 is the time period of oscillation along L1. So T1 square L1 will be equal to 4 pi square divided by G k square plus L1 square. And if T2 is the time period of oscillation along the side L2, then T2 square into L2 will be equal to 4 pi square divided by G k square plus L2 square. Then you take the difference of T1 square L1 minus T2 square L2. So this will be equal to 4 pi square by G, you can take common. So k square plus L1 square minus k square minus L2 square. So k square cancels. So this will be equal to 4 pi square divided by G L1 square minus L2 square. So 4 pi square divided by G will be equal to T1 square L1 minus T2 square L2 divided by L1 square minus L2 square. And if you rearrange the terms, this will be equal to T1 square plus T2 square divided by 2 into L1 plus L2 plus T1 square minus T2 square divided by 2 into L1 minus L2. Why you should write like this? Because you can find out the difference in two lengths L1 minus L2 and L1 plus L2. That is why you rearrange the terms like this. So what will be G? The value of G will be equal to 8 pi square divided by T1 square plus T2 square divided by L1 plus L2 plus T1 square minus T2 square divided by L1 minus L2. So this is a well known formula for the calculation of G in case of Ketter's pendulum. And here you have to find out the time period T1, T2 and L1, difference of the two lengths is a very known value, that is, I have told you the length of the total Ketter's pendulum is equal to about 1.2 meter, and you find out the center of gravity, and you can calculate the value of L1 and L2, and you find out the time period T1 and T2 in experiment, and by putting the value of T1 and T2, L1 and L2, you can find out easily the value of acceleration due to gravity G. And in case of bar pendulum, you can find out the acceleration due to gravity, but it is very tedious because you find out the time period at different holes from the center of from the point of suspension. You take the time period at different holes, so it is a very tedious job. But if to find out the acceleration due to gravity in case of Ketter's pendulum, it is a very easy method. That is why while calculating to find out the acceleration due to gravity at different places in the laboratory we use Catter's pendulum in case of instead of bar pendulum.